Hey everyone, welcome back. It is Icon. Thank you so much for checking out another episode of Esports Analysis. Today, I wanted to go back. I feel like this was probably the most exciting moment of the entire weekend of CDL Chicago. So this is the domination between Chicago and New York. The end of this is just absolutely insane. If you haven't seen it, I'm really excited to break it down for you. But if you can't tell, right now we are playing Domination and we are on the map Hackney Yard. Now, I don't really break down Domination too much just because it's the same thing over and over again. And really what I mean by that is that the strategy, you're just trying to do the same thing. You're trying to get the same two flags. You're trying to spawn trap your enemy at the same flag. And it's just over and over again. That's what you're trying to execute. So minimap bottom left-hand corner, this is the one thing that I love about doing match analysis versus scrim analysis is that we can actually see where everybody's at on the map. And that really helps from a breakdown standpoint because you can see clearly person by person exactly what's happening on the map. Real quick, I will just kind of draw what you want. So if you're looking at the bottom left-hand corner, if you get this spawn as it starts here, then that's the more dominant spawn. So you want to hold A, you want to hold B, and you want to try to push up as far as you can, and you want to try to basically spawn trap your enemy back here by C. And the further that you can push up, the better. So as you can see right now, Chicago still has control of A, but they did give up a little bit of time inside of B. So luckily for them, nobody has pushed forward because the way things start to get a little bit out of control on this map is if, for example, New York was to push forward and get control of A, you kind of see Temp doing that right now. So this is exactly what you don't want to happen. Now, with that said, you can kind of see that the white arrows are spread out all over the place. So let's go ahead. Let's pause this just for a second. So with New York, you can see that they had control of B. You saw Temp push up and he was starting to cap A. As he was capping A, those that didn't die or those that didn't push up, such as Zuma right here and Accuracy right here, they still had this back spawn. So essentially what that did is that made Chicago spawn over here by green. So if you're Chicago, you're kind of in a predicament here. What do we do? Well, the thing you have to do is you have to, and as you see these green arrows right here, you have to track back over towards A because you have to capture A, and then after you capture A, you start pushing forward and you try to capture B. So like we were kind of just saying about how this is the same thing over and over again, that's what's going on with this map is that you're always trying to capture A, you're always trying to capture B, and then you're trying to push forward as much as you possibly can. And the further you can push out, the better, because then that just develops a stronger spawn kill on the enemy. So again, exactly what we just talked about. And that's, again, this is why I don't really love doing Domination, because it's just the same thing over and over again. It's not like the plays are different. It's not like, you know, you're breaking hard points from different routes, or it's not like at least every 60 seconds when you're breaking down a hard point map, the strategy changes. You want to be in a different spot. You want to try a different flank. You want to get a different set of spawns. Whereas in this, it's just A, B, and then try to spawn your enemy team out. And if you're looking at the score of the top middle, Chicago does have control of A and B, so they don't have the lead yet, but they do have map control, although Zuma was able to sneak through right there. And that's an interesting play. So for Zuma there, rather than hop on B, he was just trying automatically to go through and try to capture A. And on the opposite side of the map, you can see that Scump pushed through, and Scump was able to triple cap there for just a moment. So really all that does is every once in a while you'll see this. So again, bottom left-hand corner, the mini map. Let me pause this so that we can talk about this real quick. If you're the team that's spawning back here and you have control of A, you have control of B. I know that they don't right now, but this is just kind of what happened. If you're the person that's over here watching green and you don't get contested, then a lot of times this person can flank all the way through to C. And the whole point of this is that you're just trying to neutral and then get off and hide in the corner, or come over here and just hide somewhere. And essentially what that does is, as New York is spawning right here, rather than have 5 people be able to push into B, it makes one of them go back and try to capture C. And if you can win that 1v1, then now for every 5 seconds that passes, you're earning extra ticks for your team that you wouldn't have gotten before. So that's kind of what everybody tries to do there. Every once in a while, again, if you're just watching the minimap, just watch the very top of the screen. And as somebody, oh, now they just spawned out. So this is a little bit different. You could see that New York pushed through into A, which forced, oops. So let's do this. Now that they put this up, I wish I had control over this. I wish there was a way that I could actually control this and show you guys what's going on. But essentially, New York had control of B. They got control of B right here. And after they did that, they pushed forward into A. As that was happening, since Chicago had somebody over here that was trying to neutralize, that forced Chicago to spawn right here. And now they're in a little bit of trouble, right? Now they have a triple cap faced in front of them. I know it's not triple capped right now, but Temp is right here on the left-hand side. And essentially, Gunless is the only person that's going to be pushing here because Envoy just died. So Arcides or Formal, neither one of these guys are in position to capture a flag. So right now it does come down to Gunless on that backside if he's going to be able to overtake, and he just got killed. So he just died from Temp right there also. And this is really important for New York because they've already got a 13-point lead. But you can see with that tick, it just went up to 15. Then now, so that C flag was captured, but it's up to 16. And now it's up to 17. And you can just kind of see how this snowballs. So if you're New York, you're doing a really nice job because you are pushed up towards mid-map. You have A-B control, and you're still getting kills around mid-map. Now, Arcides was able to push through from spawn. We'll see. Arcides was able to neutral B, and Envoy is over here on A, so there's a whole lot happening. And that's reminiscent of if a team has control of AB and they're not real sure in their roles, or they're playing super fast. If you have a ton of SMGs that are playing super fast, then sometimes you can just miss routes, right? You really do have to lock down mid-map, the right side by bottom green, and the left side through bottom B. And if you have all three of those routes locked down, then you can really start spawn trapping your enemy. But if you're missing something, you're playing too fast, you're running around really quickly, then it's easy to miss stuff like that. So at the end of the first side, this is not good for Chicago because remember at the beginning there, Chicago started on dominant side, which means you want to have a lead at the end of the first side, and right now they don't. So we'll see what happens here in the second side, but right here at the bottom of your screen, you can see, so man, they keep switching back and forth. So we're on board with Chicago right here, and you can see that they're spawning by C. So I'm interested to see what they do off the break. Are they really selling out, trying to flip? And it looks like that is what they're doing. Let me show you this real quick. So this is a strategy. Off the rip, if you're looking at the minimap in the bottom left-hand corner, Chicago spawned right here. And you have a couple options, right? You're going to send one back to try to capture C. Right here, Formal's got the AR, and he's watching the push over on this side of the map. Because in some instances, teams might send somebody trying to flip over towards C. But every other green arrow, look at where they went. They all went mid-map. And the reason why they're doing that is because they're trying to push through and they're trying to flip and they're trying to capture A right away. So rather than go through bottom L or go through top L or push up through mid vents trying to get inside of B, they have one capturing C, they have one watching the push over on the flank, and then they have three, all of their SMGs hitting mid-map, and they're really just trying to get kills and they're trying to flip already. And that can be big if you execute properly. If you don't execute, then you're really putting yourself behind the 8 ball because now, for example, none of their SMGs were able to get through and capture A. So what is the result of that? The only thing that left them with is that nobody's inside of B. They weren't able to flip. They weren't able to get any pressure on A, and they have nobody around B. So that's kind of a worst case scenario if you're really trying to flip off the beginning here. And at this point in time, I really like what I'm seeing. Again, minimap bottom left-hand corner, I really like what I'm seeing from New York. Look how far New York is pushed up right here. So rather than lay back and just kind of hold these areas, they're pushed up all the way on the other side of the map. So that even if they do go down, by the time Chicago can get on top of B and really try to get B control, they've already forced more, like another set of team gun battles. So you're just giving yourself a little bit more time. The further you push up, if you get kills, great. If you don't get kills, then essentially that's just another series of waves of team gun battles that Chicago has to fight through in order to get B control. But as we're watching this right now, all the spawns have reset. New York spawning on the right side, Chicago spawning on the left side, and the battle is just happening again inside of B. So if you're Chicago, let's kind of take a look at where we're at. We're down by 33 points. You can make up 12 points every minute if you have a 1-cap lead. So if they just hold a 1-cap, they can still end up winning this match. They would have enough to be able to come back because they can make up 36. They're down by 30. So the math checks out. They could just hold 2 and they could end up winning. However, in such a fast-paced game, and especially when the spawns are so close on a map like Hackney Yard, that's extremely hard to do. So the route to come back is that you still want to try to flip. You can see Arcides right there is pushing through, trying to get control of A. You do want to try to get A-B control just because that's so much easier. The ideal play right here is to get A-B control, have somebody hit the flank and then neutral C. If you can play the A-B and neutral C, then you really have stuff working your way. And it looks like with that right there, big kill from Scump, he's able to overtake on A, so they are going to get A-B control. Now, that took a little bit of time. If you look, they're down by 28 seconds. So if they're down by 28, then that means over the course of the next 2 minutes, they can only make up 24. So at some point in time, they do have to hold A-B, but they also have to get a neutral on C somehow, or a triple cap. If they can get a triple cap for 10, 15 seconds, then everything would be great. But I'm going to be interested to see how they go about doing this because remember, I told you earlier, the end of this is the most exciting part of the entire weekend for me. And really what you just saw New York do right there is that they were playing for picks. So if you looked, and I know we're like 10 seconds behind, but if you looked over here, they got 2 picks in the kill feed over here. And they were doing that, but just kind of hanging out in these areas. And as soon as they got 2 picks, mid-map and up top L, then they started to push forward because now they know that they have a 5v3. So they don't have to push forward because they could still win just based off holding 1 flag. But if you could get into B, you could capture B and you could get, you know, another 10, 15 seconds there that's going your way in terms of a 2-cap, then you want to try to do that as much as you can. And this is what I'm watching. Just kind of as an analyst, I'm waiting for somebody over here from Chicago, and I know I'm drawing with the wrong color, to leak out, and that's what you're seeing right here. Keep an eye on Gunless. He's leaking out. He's going to try to neutral C, and there's nobody else. Look at all these arrows down here from New York. There's nobody paying attention to him. So kind of the last minute or so, while I've been watching what's happening on screen, while I've been watching what's happening on B, I'm just waiting for that player from Chicago to leak out because they do have to neutral a flag, and that's what you're seeing right here. Now, while this neutral is happening, big 2-piece from Envoy on top of B, and this is what's going to end up making the difference here. Again, Chicago's down by 12 with a minute left. So if they hold 2 caps, then they can come back and force a draw. Right now, New York didn't have anything. Now New York has, now it's a 1v1. So down towards the end here, this gets really frantic because it's not so much just about holding sites. It's about trying to get every single point because every point matters. So the lead is 7. You can make up 6 points in 30 seconds. So they can win if they're just able to hold 2. They can come back. They can make that comeback happen if they're able to hold 2. And right now they spawned out. So New York was able to push into B, which forced Chicago to spawn out. Let me show you that real quick. New York was able to get capture of B. Because of that, this is the exact same thing that we saw that happen at the beginning. Somebody from Chicago spawned right here, and you can see them tracking back to A. So they're just trying to get as many flags as they can, but right now it's a 4-point lead, and they don't have 2 caps. So somebody's going to have to get inside of B and try to neutral that as well. Again, 20 seconds left. There's a lot that's going to happen. Team kill inside of B. You can see Scump coming up top. He gets 1. This is a big neutral right here. So they still got 2 flags, and there's the neutral. Arcides comes through, gets the neutral on B. Even though they're losing C, that's enough. They have a 2 flag. That last ticks are going to come in, and they're going to get a 2-point lead. So everything. It really was just like a perfect storm right there of everything coming together. They spawned out. They were able to capture C. Arcities and Scump went big on top of B. They were able to capture B. Then, since they were able to capture B, they had control of A and B. That spawned New York over at C. And even though New York was able to get C, there was only 5 seconds left. That last tick came in, and that gave Chicago the win. So, crazy thing about Domination is that a lot of things can happen very quickly. If you're talking about Hardpoint, all of the points are on one single place, right? So everything's happening on one side of the map. Whereas if you're talking about Domination, you have to watch A, you have to watch B, you have to watch C. I mean, there really is a lot going on. So, but with that, let's go ahead. Let's wrap this up. If you're new around here and you like this sort of stuff, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. I put out videos like this every single day. If you have any comments whatsoever, leave them down below. I love the interactions and seeing what you guys have to say. Make sure you leave a like before you head on. Helps out the channel. And with that, guys, thank you so much. I will catch you in tomorrow's upload.